And welcome back, everyone, to the Sugar-Free League here. We've got another great match for you all tonight. It's going to be Murk Nimbus here versus NewAE Esports, already off with a couple bands here. And we got Flip back with us, joining us once again. So happy to have him here. And, well, let's jump right into it. What are you seeing so far?
I'm seeing some good bands coming out and a Wukong pick. I'm actually really excited to see this with the new Wukong changes. Hopefully, seeing this maybe in the jungle. Maybe we could even see a top lane. I think it's a strong pick right now, especially in Diamond. So I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, Wukong definitely been touted as one of the strongest junglers or strongest champions around. Can be played in the jungle, but also in the soul lanes. So excited to see this pick coming out as it was disabled last week. We didn't get to see it then. And Fiddlesticks is also disabled, just to make sure everyone is on the same page with that one here. So I believe we have to wait 2 weeks for Fiddlesticks because we're gonna name him on the patch cycle. So we won't get to see him, but we will get to see the Wukong here, and then looks like it's gonna be the Senna. Tom Kench bottom lane, the fasting bottom lane, as some people like to call it, which is apparently still a thing. Which I don't know if people are excited about that, but it's here.
I like the fasting bottom lane. I think it allows for that just swallows up your AD carry. Now he's getting some tank. He's able to hold his own in fights. But I like this into the Varus pick because Varus is all skill shot based, and if Varus throws his ult out and Tom swallows Senna, who has low mobility, you're missing that Varus ult straight out of there.
Yeah. So with the Jarvan added here, I mean, the Varus is a little bit mobile, but the Wukong and Pyke definitely have escapes to get around that, or obviously this Wukong just can ult that Cataclysm. So interesting to see how that will interact there. But it looks like a pretty beefy team comp so far from NewAE with the Tom Kench and Jarvan here, plus all the healing from Senna. But a lot of damage on the other side for Murk Nimbus here with the Varus, Pyke, Wukong, all big damage sources. But they are mostly AD. I mean, Varus has a little bit of magic damage, but they're definitely going to look for an AP mid lane, you assume, on this second phase here. Or maybe a jungler, maybe a Gragas to add to the roster.
I would like to see a Gragas come out, and I'd also like to see some more tank on the side of Merc Nimbus. I'm actually really interested in this Pyke pick because it seems like New Age has a lot of chance to kind of take away from the Pyke ult. You have Tom Kench, who's tanky and kind of sneaky tanky, where he's got that gray health shield that could pop in out of nowhere. And also, when Tom Kench swallows his teammates, it could be a really big outplay for this Pyke. So I'm hoping to see some really good Pyke play to maneuver around all of the disengage that New Age is bringing to the table right now.
Definitely going to need to play around that, because the Pyke ultimate is so much better if you reset, obviously, just like double the damage if you're able to reset that ultimate. So getting that first execution off, very important here. With the Zac going to join the side of Murk Nimbus, assumedly in the jungle, although this can obviously go top lane, which we've been seeing a bit more of recently, is that Zac top. Although they don't know what it's playing against, so perhaps the Zac is intended to be flex around. You know, maybe the Wukong will move to a different spot depending on how things go here. But these are going to be added in the mid lane for NewAE, so we're lacking a bit of damage here, considering the Senna needs a while to scale up and just generally isn't super strong, for a while game, especially when she's not farming. She just doesn't have that gold and wants to scale up the souls here. So the Azir added on with the damage, that's a sort of another check off of New Age's, the requirements for a good team comp here. And now they do have to pick one last champion, kind of blind here, as they don't know exactly what's going in the top side. But Mordekaiser good against most things.
I think Mordekaiser is a great pick here because you don't technically know if you're playing against the Zac or the Wukong, and he's going to hold his own in both of those lanes. Also, Mordekaiser is great because when Wukong wants to ult your entire team, he can just take him out of the fight.
Yeah, that's going to be a big potential, denial there, is being able to ult the Wukong out, or situationally maybe the Pyke, even though the Pyke, if he's looking to get resets or something here, but just taking away the Wukong, Pyke, whoever it is, maybe the Zac, even if you're trying to deny the engage, but certainly the Wukong with that ultimate so impactful here. And it looks like they will be landing against each other in the top side here, so it'll be Wukong versus Mordekaiser. And it looks like, unless there's a little, last minute shenanigans here, it should be the Jarvan versus the Zac. And then the Vel'Koz is the last thing added on. So Murk Nimbus able to get some AP alongside Zac's magic damage. So the Vel'Koz can really start to shred through that team, especially, with the AP and true damage he's got in that kit. It's going to be really hard to itemize against the Vel'Koz, even though the rest of the team is sort of, so heavily physical damage. The Vel'Koz will be able to tear apart the, New Age lineup if they do overstep a little bit there, especially if he gets ahead. So have to keep our eyes on him in the mid lane. But definitely looks like a bit of a slower early game for Murk Nimbus. But once they get those ultimates online, really going to start to become quite a lot of dangerous areas on the map for NewAE to even try and face check.
I'm really excited from this draft from Merc Nimbus. I think that the Vel'Koz is a good pick here because you're going to have a ton of burst damage, which you're kind of looking for with that team comp because we said they were very heavily AD before. They also have the potential for huge wombo combos and huge team fighting presence where we weren't sure if they were going to with the Pike pick. I'm really excited for it. I think that if they're going to hit these Zackies and these Wukong ults, and this Vel'Koz is going to be getting huge burst damage and huge true damage throughout the entirety of NewAE.
Yeah, definitely gonna be a scary, a scary engage. Like you got the Zac, the Wukong, so many different tools. Even the Varus can start things off here. So I think it's going to be a very dangerous sort of proposition to even just stay safe for NewAE and get vision down. That's going to be even dangerous for them. Although the Tahm Kench being able to sort of face check things is going to be at least somewhat useful for them. Although he's not going to be one placing down wards. Assumedly it'll be the Senna here, but we'll see how this one goes. I mean, even if you do catch the Mordekaiser, he can obviously just ult himself to safety as he wins most 1v1s against his enemy team comp, and he'll be a real thorn in the side of Murk Nimbus for sure, as they're trying to find the engages right onto the Senna and Azir. And speaking of thorns in your side, if you're trying to find engage, Tahm Kench is big here. So definitely a lot of counterplay for both these sides. If you're able to deny that engage, NewAE can just turn around and smash a fight, or if the Murk Nimbus do catch someone, it's going to be really tough to get away, because once one thing lands, it's pretty much all over from there. But based on this draft, what are you thinking going into this one for who's going to take this? Because there's a lot of standard picks, but also a few interesting things like the Vel'Koz, and obviously we haven't seen Wukong yet. So what are your thoughts going into game number one?
I think we're going to see a lot of early jungle pressure coming out from NewAge's Jarvan this game, and I think that's going to be the make or break for the early and mid game. If Jarvan can get a lot of ganks off this immobile Vel'Koz, the immobile Varus in the bot lane, NewAge is going to be able to pick up a lot of kills and snowball through and hold out for that Azir to pick up and start snowballing. It's kind of weird because you have this jungler who's going to be really good in the early game with the Jarvan, but you have a team that kind of is looking to snowball. So if they can find that really good balance, I think NewAge has a really good chance to win.
All right. Well, with that, we'll take a short break, and then we'll go into game number one. And, it's NewAge versus Murk Nimbus. Game number one, we got a Wukong and a couple interesting other champions. So excited to see this one. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. And welcome back, everyone. Here we are on the Rift for game number 1, NewAE Esports versus Murk Nimbus here. And that's going to be Murk Nimbus on the red side, NewAE on the blue side. And Flip, you said that you liked NewAE in this one, or at least a slight edge here. What are your thoughts? What do they need to accomplish early on? You talked about the Jarvan, early pressure in the jungle. What is he really looking to do? Is he trying to get a certain lane ahead, or what's his goal for this early game?
I think he's got to shut down this immobile Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz doesn't have a lot of room for escape, especially against the Jarvan's combo. If he can get ganks to the mid lane and lock him down, maybe with some nice roams up from Tahm Kench, they're going to be able to get a huge lead in the mid lane.
All right, fantastic. I think that's a great goal to have, especially having that clear directive early on can really help. As junglers not known for their brains, sometimes they just go gank, gank, gank. Or those farm junglers, very selfish. That's me in solo queue. I don't play for anyone else. I just sit around and farm until free kills come my way. So my teammates tell me I'm not very smart. That's where I've learned most of the things from League of Legends. My teammates telling me what to do, but maybe that's not the best way to learn here. As it looks like a little bit of a late ward to be put down there by the Pyke, a Furious Doctor with the ward onto the red buff. So we'll know where the Jarvan started, and Age King will spot it out, at least for the time being, while Zac, starting on top side, drops there, getting from his top laner. So both these junglers on the red buffs will either go from here, but obviously Zac, he's the one who wants to definitely get a few levels in, and then he can start looking for ganks. But he does have a lot of great setup, especially in the bot lane and the top lane when that Wukong gets level 6, and obviously the Varus and Pyke coming in line with their ult as well.
Now I'm really interested to see how this top lane pushes out. I haven't really seen a lot of the Wukong versus Mordekaiser matchups with the new Wukong. I'm not sure how it battles out to be, but I think Wukong kind of can take the trades up until around levels 6, maybe level 3. Mordekaiser gets a spike. I'm interested to see that. I want to see if Jarvan will go and try to gank and take advantage of this kind of pre-level 3 Wukong right now.
Well, the Jarvan is up there. Age King level 2. He's got double buffs, but no level 3 just yet. And now Shadowy Figure trying to get around it. Will get to that Tribar safe, although Flag and Drag over Age King. Going to put a little bit of damage down, but it looks like Shadowy Figure should get out A-okay. I think he's got the E and the Q, no W just yet, so didn't have a great escape, but was able to get away there. So nice and safe in the top side. No, nothing really going catastrophic wrong just yet. As Zac bot side farming out that Poison Gromp. And yeah, nothing crazy so far. Not even a summer spell burn.
I think we saw a little miscommunication there from NewAE. I think Jarvan was ready to combo onto Wukong, but Mordekaiser didn't necessarily have his cooldowns ready, and he thought that the trade was lost. So when Wukong walked into the Tribush, Jarvan went in, and Mordekaiser had already gone back top lane. So I'm not sure if they could have gotten any more pressure there. Maybe they could have blown a flash if Mordekaiser continued on with that gank. But still some good pressure down on the top lane. Now Mordekaiser has a really good CS lead, so it wasn't a wasted gank.
You get a lot of damage down, and in this early stage, especially with the TP changes recently, you really don't want to blow that TP early because it's an incredibly long cooldown. So if you force out that early back, you're going to get a big health snowball here. Unfortunately, the Senna in a bit of trouble here. Good swallow by the Tahm Kench, or Devour, I should say. And it looks like the Senna going to be A-okay, but a little bit of pressure there, and the flash down from her, but no death just yet.
And that's kind of what we were talking about early in Champ Select, where that Devour is just so strong. Pyke goes in, and Devour kind of cancels out everything that Pyke does right there. We're going to be hopefully seeing Tahm Kench hit these really key Devours, and this Pyke's going to have to get creative to play around the Devours of Tahm Kench and hopefully catch him on cooldown.
Here's an interesting choice on the summer spells there. They went for Heal and Ignite here. Not usually anymore. I don't know exactly what the standard is too much, but in memory, it seems more like you'd go like run Cleanse on the Tahm Kench or Heal on him or some other defensive summoner spells. You're probably not going to kill the enemy laners on the Senna Tahm Kench, too early on. So it's kind of interesting they are going for that slightly more standard, more aggressive setup with the Ignite and Heal as opposed to going for a Cleanse or a Heal and a Barrier or something like that.
I think that they needed to have Ignite on somebody because of Zac's healing throughout fights, and Azir chose to go with Barrier, so they're probably prioritizing Azir's Barrier. But I would have liked to see maybe a Senna on a TP and then the Tahm Kench on heal in that regard as well. But we'll see how this plans out. They have a little more kill pressure in the bot lane, so if Jarvan does go for a gank, they can go for the kills with that Ignite, but we're seeing a trade up top lane.
It is a little bit hard to get those grievous wounds early on for the Zac healing, and even if the other champions have a tiny bit with, you know, Spell Vamp or the Ravenous Hunter kind of dealing from the Vel'Koz probably. If you went for Domination on the secondary, I don't know exactly what the runes are, but yeah, getting those runes is tough because you look at your two AB champions, the Mordekaiser and the Azir. Going for Morello is really awkward for the Azir early on, and then Mordekaiser can get it, but he'd rather have, you know, like Rylai's and Leandri's early on, so they can't really get Grievous runes easily. And then the Senna also, you could probably get Executioners, but actually applying it consistently is a bit tough. So it's kind of an interesting, you know, conundrum there, and it looks like they're just solving it by taking that Ignite, but is an interesting choice. We'll see if it comes back to haunt them, or if that Ignite actually helps out. Maybe they will get a gank from the Jarvan or something that it'll really play out well in, but no major moves on the map just yet. I mean, we're only 6 minutes in, but no one moved to the Dragon, and nothing really crazy going on just yet. A few ganks here and there, but no one really making big moves. But with the Zac gaining levels and Ultimate starting to come online, maybe you'll start to see some moves made here by NewAE or Murk Nimbus. Both teams have potential to make plays. Speaking of that, we've got a potential move on the Dragon here, at least the Scuttlecraft being taken on the bot side there by Drops, and perhaps setting it for that potential Dragon.
Yeah, they could actually start it now if they wanted to, but they're electing not. Maybe they're going to try to bring Zac down bot lane for another gank because NewAE is really pushed up in this bot lane. We could see a kill here real soon.
They've got double control wards here, and now a nice elastic shot by Drops. He's going to pull back the Tahm Kench and the Senna. Flash away from Tahm Kench to Devour to bring back the Senna, and it looks like successful survival on that gank, but they do get the heal and the flash out there. So the Tahm Kench just end up both down a Summer Spell.
And that's the thing right there, is who do you go for when you do gank that lane? Because you can't put all your damage into Tahm Kench because you won't kill him because of the Grey health, which we saw. And they wound up splitting the damage between the two, and the second Senna looked like she was getting caught out. She gets devoured and saved. So they're putting a lot of resources in this bot lane, and it's good that they're getting the Dragon out real soon because they're not going to get
double
killed
controllers here, and now a nice elastic shot by Drops. Hugo's going to pull back the Tahm Kench and the Senna. Flash away from Tahm Kench to Devour, definitely bring back the Senna. And it looks like successful. They didn't really have a solution for it there, and I don't know if they'll have it for the rest of the game here, but Dragon was taken while we were watching that replay there. The Cloud Drake taken. NewAE, you know, giving that one up. Didn't really have the Jarvan available anyway if they want to contest, and obviously down on Summer Spells there. So good for the Dragon. Cloud early on, not the worst thing in the world. But looks like top lane is, you know, back to even. The Wukong struggled for a little bit early on after that initial gank, but the CS is even there, and CS is even pretty much everywhere, including the spot lane and the jungle. So nothing, no crazy advantages here, just the Dragon taken. And most of the Summoner spells are coming back up. Tahm Kench still missing Flash, but Senna will get Purged back soon. So not too many big plays here. Oh, the Death Realm going through. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch that Wukong there. The cast got interrupted, so nice job by the Wukong. I don't know if he, you know, was able to buffer that on purpose, but able to get out of the ultimate there from the Mordekaiser. So still has that available, but at least survives that engage here. As we're on the Rift Herald and a Furious Doctor coming down. He doesn't have the ultimate, only level 5 here. Strips the Zac, last two shots over the wall to try and join this one. The Rift Herald's gonna go over to Ancient. No one's picked up yet though, and a big ultimate by the Wukong. Ancient gonna flag and drag in to get the Rift Herald and tackle some back, including taking it by Shadowy Figure, and the Varus coming in for the first blood. Furious Doctor getting chased, but will not be able to catch that Mordekaiser. So they lose the kill, but they do get the Rift Herald here, as now the bot lane from NewAE coming up towards the mid lane. Senna trying to run away, but gonna get knocked up here by the Vel'Koz, and now gonna get disintegrated here. Kali gonna come in at the last minute and steal away that kill, as the Chains of Corruption gonna sail wide, but 2 kills in exchange for a Rift Herald essentially across the map. NewAE get the Rift Herald, but Drops makes things, you know, big off of that here. Engage underneath the turret. Drops here, dropping the ultimate now as he's on the Azir, but just gonna have to walk out of it, and no one really going down a heal. He burned, but no kills gained here. It's only the original 2 for the side of Murk Nimbus.
Wow, and there was just a lot to digest there. It was a really good play by H-King after getting pinched on in the Rift Herald pit right there. I thought he was just going to get killed and go down again.
He face-checked that one.
he face-checked that bush, and I thought he was going to go down, but he got himself out. It was really good of him to get that Herald, and then when we thought he was going to die, and
Chains of Corruption is going to sail wide, but
Nimbus,
2 kills in exchange for a Rift Herald.
We saw what happens when Senna and Tahm Kench get split up. Senna gets caught out. She has no mobility. She's going to get killed by this really easy pick composition from Murk Nimbus. You have the Pyke who can pick you in with his hooks. You have Varus who can get you with that ult, and we're hopefully seeing it again if they engage right here.
They're on to Senna here. Pull her back with the stretching strike, and Drops will survive. No, he's going to go into his passive here. TP not available, but it doesn't look like the Tom Kench can take out that the Zach there in his Goblet form. So passive for a kill, nice trade there. Senna down, her second death here, and Tom Kench trying to hold on to the turret, but plating's already fallen here. And Furious Doctor gonna take a few lickings, but just hop away here. And in the mid lane, oh no! Hold back is that Vel'Koz. Trying to give chase is Potato Senpai, but now H-King coming in to join the fight. Flash with the wall from the Vel'Koz, and he's gonna get the kill back. Nice play by Boone there, grabbing the 2v1 kill against Potato Senpai. He's used both Somersaults in that one. An amazing play by the Vel'Koz.
A little miscommunication there for Azir and Jarvan. H-King was a little too late to roam down to that. I thought he was going to save the day when he EQ'd flashed and then knocked up the Vel'Koz and saved Azir right away. But then Vel'Koz just had a perfect play. Flash over the wall, finish off the kill onto Azir, and gets away. He just 1v2'd.
Brilliant play there by Boone. And he got both summer kills out of Potato Senpai, which is impressive, as well as being up about 20 CS here. So massive lead for the Vel'Koz in the mid lane here. In the bot lane, it looks like it's obviously going to be this poke Varus with, he's already got the Comet, and now he's obviously, you know, confirmed that build by going for the Thaldiad first. So that'll be a lot of poke with the Vel'Koz and the Varus together. It's going to be really hard for NewAE to hold on to or challenge objectives at all, as there's going to be so much, you know, so many things flying in the air at them. Even with Senna, Sustain, and Tom Kench, it's going to be very hard to try and even walk up to anything, especially now that they're somewhat behind. As Wukong, again, being that tricky trickster he is, hopping out of, you know, Mordekaiser's abilities with that W, which I think was a great change. Really makes that kid, I think, more interactive and more fun to play against. Or maybe that's just a biased viewpoint. Maybe it's not fun to do playing against it. But definitely an interesting change here for the Wukong. And it's pretty even up there. It looks like he's going for a Vamp Scepter, so maybe Blade the Rune King first. We'll see. As H-King down on the bot side now.
Oh, no.
They've got to play. Corruption landed. It looks like H-King here, but he's in a 2v1. It's caught on the opposite side. This one here from PSN by Andrew during the fight. It's a 4v4. H-King going to go on the casualty. He's going to go down himself and move over the wall. A lot of damage. It looks like a 1-0 so far. The Jarvan has fallen. As Kali going to have to flash away. Here comes the Senna. He's taking a lot of damage back. Here comes Boone joining the fight. It looks like Senna maybe, oh, good flash away. Will be able to survive that. Boone has a lot of damage. Gotta be very careful of him. So good flash away from the Senna there. And it looks like a disengage, but a 1-0. Oh no, at the end, Kali with the kill onto the Senna.
And that's just the thing about the itemization coming out from Murk Nimbus right here. You have the Hex Tech coming out from Vel'Koz and the lethality build coming out from Varus, where Vel'Koz didn't even need to enter that fight. He could just sit over the wall. He gets his slow off onto everybody. He can ult everybody over the wall, and he's just super safe. Also, this lethality build coming out from Varus is going to make him super safe as well, where you have a Mordekaiser and Azir who want to get up close to you. They're almost melee range champions. Azir's almost a melee range champion when you think about it.
At least comparatively to the Vel'Koz and the Varus.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're just going to be able to sit back and poke them down and not even have to enter the fights. The carries you're going to see on Murk Nimbus won't have to enter their fights. They're going to sit so far back, and we're going to need to see some really key engages from H-King's Jarvan to get wins in these fights.
Speaking of engages here in the bot lane, Quality Rager coming down with a shutdown off that TP, and now a flash forward into the death realm goes a Furious Doctor, trying to use the turret to protect himself, but just out of turret range is Quality Rager, now taking a few turret hits, but he's going to get the kill. A double kill on the bot side off that TP, a huge play by the Mordekaiser, had a slightly top, and now it's going to be even bigger. Great TP, shuts down the bot lane.
And that was just a really good TP. They caught him off guard. They didn't have sums. They knew what they were doing. And perfect execution out there from Quality Ranger.
Yeah, beautifully played by the Mordekaiser. And I was just going to say, you know, bot lane doesn't look so good. The rest of the map is going great. But Mordekaiser's pretty strong. And he comes with a big play there from the side of NewAE. Esports drops to the left. The stretching strike. He will pull back Potato Senpai. He's very low on mana, so I think this mid lane turret may go down unless there's help coming from the rest of NewAE, which, as I say that, here comes several people rotating down and drop, maybe caught. I don't think that's where you want to be. Let's check over the wall, though. We'll get him to safety, and it will be a Blade of the Rune King first with Wukong. So he'll have a lot of damage that, you know, change Blade of the Rune King doing a lot of damage when you are a melee champion. 12% current health is quite a lot. So that Wukong going to be very strong, but he is, you know, falling a little bit behind against this Mordekaiser as mid lane turret looking far.
Now I'm interested to see his impact on the game if he doesn't start to get some kills under his belt, I think he's still going to be really strong since the new changes. He's kind of not the same early game, maybe a little mid game completely falls off the rails Wukong that he used to be. The Blade of the Rune thing's really good against that team where you're going to have a lot of high
Devour here by the Tom Kench, but the Tom Kench in trouble himself. A lot of damage down, but it looks like a successful disengage there. That's the power of the Tom Kench Devour. Many times nerfed, but still good.
And it also, and that's just the thing about the Tom Kench Devour is, you know, what we've said before, Senna and Tom Kench next to each other, you're not getting those kills. But on the other hand, they've been split across the map quite far between, and getting picked under your tower is going to allow Murk Nimbus to pick up this first outer tower, or in the mid side.
Great to get that mid lane turret. RD2 taken down. Overall for the side of Murk Nimbus here, they have taken down the bot lane turret, of course, as well. So NewAE losing the map right now, starting to lose their control of it. And if you do start to lose that, the advantages can grow even bigger for Murk Nimbus if they're able to gain control of the enemy. You know, enemy jungle, and the top turret is very low as well. So potentially a lot of map can be taken over by Murk Nimbus in the very near future, as the gold lead, you know, it's pretty large, over 3K right now, and their top laner is pretty even up against the Mordekaiser. I mean, he's down 2 kills, but the CS is pretty even, so the gold advantage isn't big there, you know, for NewAE. That's the one bright spot, but the rest of the map is huge gold differences. You look at mid lane, many kills and a lot of CS here. Bot lane, even in CS, but the kills, you know, significantly favoring the side of Murk Nimbus. So it's really quite a scary situation here, position by position. But maybe the Mordekaiser will come up big, especially as we're talking about the useful in team-wise here. A lot of damage put down. Oh my god, that Tom Kench getting very close, but will not go down. That was a very scary display of the damage there from the Vel'Koz. It's just on 2 items, but 2 kind of utility items back.
Yeah, and Senna had to burn heal there, but they're going in again and not able to pick off the pike. But Vel'Koz burning summoner spells with 1v2 in the bot lane. You do not want to see that. He's just showing how much damage this Vel'Koz can put out. They need to jump on
Good hook here on a Potato Senpai. The execute is going to miss there from the pike, but we'll get the kill in the end by flashing into the enemy Azir and securing that one. 2 summoner spells used, but they get the kill on the mid lane, and that should assure the dragon is theirs, which is spawning about 20 seconds. And if they get that dragon, they're only 1 away from Soul, which when you're at 18 minutes, you're looking at a 23-minute Soul. That's not bad at all. Definitely a very exciting development for the side of Murk Nimbus in Game 1. They've got complete control of the bot side, and they're leveraging it to get the Soul, which it'll be an Ocean, which is pretty good. I mean, you talk about healing, how that'll be a thorn in the side with the Zac. Well, imagine if the entire team is healing like that. That's going to be tough to deal with in team fights. So Grievous Wound's definitely going to have to be picked up at some point.
Yeah, this is a Drake Soul that NewAE really would like to have against this Poe composition. And if Murk Nimbus can deny this Soul, which it looks like they're doing so far, it's just going to be another, as you said, thorn in the side of NewAE. They're just going to get poked out, and they're going to be able to sustain these sieges over and over again with this Ocean Soul.
Well, wandering into the enemy jungle is Murk Nimbus. A few wards going to be cleared out here, and the Reptile drop, so looking for this inner turret into the bot lane and then bring the wave in to support the push here. Azir's got mid lane push, though, so really only 1 avenue of pressure right now, but there are 4 members here from Murk Nimbus, only 2 on the side of NewAE. Engage here coming through from drops. But it looks like it's just a ward away the enemy here, and the Riptail likely to get a second charge if it's protected by NewAE. Although Potato Senpai is here, maybe they can. Nope, it looks like Shelly's going to get 1 more dance before she goes bye-bye, and the, you know, inhibitor turret is pretty low. That's definitely a dangerous spot for it to be in, as if you do leave the Wukong alone, he can knock that down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you swap Wukong over to the bot lane, which I think they should do relatively soon, that way they can have the split push pressure onto Baron, that is a real big threat of Wukong taking an inhibitor without any pressure there. You are able to match him with Mordekaiser. It's not like the top lane's a huge disadvantage right now. It's actually the one saving grace for NewAE. So we're going to really see these teleports come into play. If NewAE can get a teleport quicker than Murk Nimbus can, I think they might be able to win fights on the 4v5 side. So if Murk Nimbus does pressure Baron, hopefully NewAE can get a quick teleport in and we'll see a nice fight. We'll see. That's what I would like to see from Murk Nimbus right now. It looks like they're keeping Wukong up top to clear a lot of farm right now, and the bot lane's probably going to go back to bot lane, and they might just focus on the soul before they start focusing on the Baron.
Yeah, 20 minutes in Baron spawn, but it does seem unlikely that it'll be taken, you know, in the immediate future. So I think playing for Soul is probably the likely scenario, but we'll see. I mean, Varus is up there, maybe putting down a ward. Yeah, put down the controller. At least threatening the possibility of the Baron, especially when you've got all this poke, is really quite scary. If they've got to face check that and potentially, you know, create an issue.
And I think at this point, NewAE doesn't have a horrible Baron take if they could sneak it. I thought they might look to pressure Baron right there themselves with the Azir and the Mordekaiser damage. But on the side of Murk Nimbus, it looks like they're starting to get into a fight right here.
Good stopwatch here by the Tahm Kench. He's going to be taken down immediately afterwards, and so is the Senna. Without Tahm Kench protector, she's down. A one-team fight there, and it looks like Murk Nimbus, well, they weren't planning on a Baron, but now that they've got 2 members killed, maybe they'll just take it.
And this Vel'Koz is just playing so well. You see these picks he's getting over the wall. He doesn't need to enter these fights. He's itemizing Twin Shadows, Hex Deck. He's getting this ability to zone these entire team fights by himself. And when you see a Vel'Koz snowballing, you know that your carries are just going to instantly die through all of that true damage. And we're seeing it right here. They didn't pressure the Vel'Koz enough when they should have, and I don't think the lane matchup necessarily allowed them to. You have this Azir going against a Vel'Koz, and Azir for the first couple of levels before he starts to pick up the items really doesn't have much pressure and really can't get into range of this Vel'Koz, and he's just been safe the whole game tearing up these fights.
Yeah, this is a concerning scenario here for the side of NewAE. I don't really know how they answer this now with the Baron picked up. How do you stop a siege? Like, the Vel'Koz and the Baron are going to tear through you. This is just a very tough situation to deal with. You know, you highlight a potential really good engage from H-King, but you got flashes up, you know, for both those guys. A stopwatch on the side of Boone, so this engage is going to have to come, you know, there's going to have to be an overstep, right, I think, on the side of Murk Nimbus. Otherwise, finding that engage is going to be really quite difficult for NewAE in any way. But here, there are 2 members a little bit out in front of the rest of the side of Murk Nimbus, and we're going to have a fight. Started off, Furious Doctor going to miss that execute on H-King with a good stopwatch. Main Scrap's going to be blocked there by the Tahm Kench. It looks like a disengage from both sides here, although H-King is very low on health. And now going back in is Drops. That's a lot of damage being put down here. The Boom and Kelly are zoned up a little bit. Here comes that form of integration rate onto Quality Rage, but he's still alive. Now, Drops trying to get another engage. He's going to find another big elastic clean stop. Potato Sim is going to get out, but he's out of mana and out of health here soon. Drops trying to get that elastic, or stretching strike rather, onto him. He does, and Boone flashing into the enemy base. That looks like it's just going to be a complete ace, all except for the side of the Azir, who's basically dead at this point. I don't think he can defend against 5.
No, this might be game right here if they want to push this. We see Wukong, who's looking like he's going to Dragon now just to secure that soul. I don't think they're actually going to try to push to end here. I was hoping to see if they, you know, maybe catch a couple picks and then go for the turrets and then see if they can, you know, keep that push rolling. But it looks like they're playing the safe route. They're going back to pick up this dragon, which is the safe route. Deny the soul. But we're seeing these fights where they just let them snowball over them. They're fighting over these walls where they don't have enough.
H-King going to find a fight against Kali. He's caught in the couch. No flash any longer. Can they find the kill here? Dawning Shadows put down, and that'll be a shutdown. H-King with the kill. They do find a big shutdown here onto Kali. And that's a nice pickup, but they need a lot more than that to come back.
Yeah, he might be able to pick up Gargoyle Swordblade off of this, and if he does, it's going to give him a little more health when he's diving into the back line, which might help him survive against this Vel'Koz burst. I want to see if Jarvan and Mordekaiser can get to this Vel'Koz. I want to see Mordekaiser ult this Vel'Koz. That might be how they can, you know, sort of deny some of the damage that comes out from Murk Nimbus. If they can take Vel'Koz completely out of the fight, even if Mordekaiser dies to Vel'Koz while he's in there, it might not even be the worst thing if the side of NewAE can pick up kills on the back end. But with a 10,000 gold lead on the side of Murk Nimbus, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. They're going to need maybe a Miracle Baron steal or something along those lines to really push them back into this game.
Yeah, 10,000 gold, and they did pick up that Ocean Soul while they found that pick. So the pick was nice, but trading it for an Ocean Soul isn't great either here. As the Wukong's been kind of quiet for most of the game, got a little bit of stuff done in that last fight here. But now he's got Triforce and Blade of the Ruined King, so he's also become a pretty big problem. Depth caps should be completed here by Boom, and the rest of the team also powering up with many strong items. So Murk Nimbus really hitting the right timings quite nicely, and on the other side, just kind of scraping stuff together. Potato Senpai still sitting on just the Nashers. He's waiting on his second item, and Grievous Wounds been picked up here by the Senna, but really not many items completed here for anyone. And that's definitely a concerning side against an Ocean Soul and a very strong Murk Nimbus team.
Blue team's turret has been
We do have
destroyed.
Wukong pressuring the bot side now, so if even NewAE tries to go to a fight, they're going to lose it.
So there is a 1v1 going on here between Quality Rager and Shadowy Figure, and it looks like Shadowy Figure coming on top, so Mordekaiser can't even win the 1v1 anymore. Now Team's Disruption going to be put down, HP going to backline, but he's got no support. He's in there all alone, buying a lot of time with the Stone Plate, but now pulled back and dunked by Furious Doctor. That's going to be a kill here onto the only hope I think that NewAE had left was perhaps their amazing engage from their jungler, but now when you're Tom Kench in a 1v4 situation, I don't think that's going to prove to be a winning formula, as down he goes as well, and only Potato Senpai left once again. Says here, 2 deaths only, but hasn't really been able to get anything done in these team fights, and it looks like NewAE is going to surrender game number 1.
Yeah, Wukong getting to that point where he's just able to solo kill in the bot lane, which is the go button for Murk Nimbus. They knew that there was no sign of Mordekaiser coming up, since he was already in that 1v1, who's practically dead at that point. They could just go in, win the fight, and end the game off that.
That's game number 1 here. NewAE Esports falling to Murk Nimbus. And I would say in a concerning fashion as well, if you want to talk about game number 2 and 3 potentially, it doesn't seem like that type of team comp is too hard to recreate, even if certain champions are banned away. I mean, Vel'Koz isn't a champion you normally see, so getting a ban against him is kind of difficult to justify. And they have a lot of tools that they can kind of recreate here, and the way they just won that early game seemed very concerning to me for future games here for NewAE.
Yeah, it seems like kind of what I said earlier in the draft, where they had a scaling mid laner and a scaling bot, but they had an early game jungler where they needed to make the plays on mid, but how do you make the plays when Azir can't really follow up pre-6? He doesn't have the most follow-up against the Vel'Koz, and he can't really get in there if the Jarvan's not there to gank. Jarvan really wasn't ganking. We saw the Azir go in post-6 and getting a lot of damage on Vel'Koz, but Jarvan wasn't there to follow up the kills. If you're going to play these early game junglers, you can't get out jungled by a Zac. I know Zac is a great jungler and provides a lot of gank pressure, but Jarvan should be able to do the same. And I think the lanes compared to the junglers is kind of where they went wrong, where they didn't necessarily play to their advantages with the Jarvan. They should have had him around the map more, pressuring these kills, because Jarvan against Zac in the jungle early game should be a win for Jarvan. Jarvan should be able to bully out the Zac, take a lot of camps from him, get these ganks off, and we didn't really see much of that. We saw a lot of pressure down bot lane from Zac, and he wasn't even getting the kills, but he was still putting those pressures, having them recall, getting those dragons easily, and they kind of just let the game snowball through bot side.
Yeah, well, perhaps they can shore up some of those weaknesses, or maybe get some more synergy between that mid-jungle duo, or just the jungle and the rest of the team comp, in this upcoming game here. But NewAE obviously got to go back and look at their mistakes and try and recreate, not recreate, but disassemble perhaps the side of Murk Nimbus and try and figure out what went wrong there. But we'll take a short break. We'll be back for game number 2 in just a few minutes. And welcome back, everyone here. Game number 2 draft already underway. Murk Nimbus here versus NewAE. And Murk Nimbus takes game number 1 here. Going to be on the blue side, so they'll have the first pick here in game number 2. And I'm not sure exactly where they want to go with this one, but like I said, I feel like it's pretty easy to recreate their comp. They didn't have any like super, highly contested champions picked up. So I'm interested to see where they go with this one, because we've got the Wukong now, which was good, but it wasn't really the thing that sort of, turned the tide of that game. So I'm interested to see what their priority is here for this game number 2.
Yeah, if NewAE bans out the Vel'Koz, they could easily, throw a Syndra in there, throw an Orianna in there. It's not the end of the world, and they could still play a similar comp. The difference is going to be, I want to see a different bot lane come in from this NewAE side. I want to see a bot lane that's able to pressure more and not just sit back and take ganks, which is kind of what we saw there. You can't really pressure hard when you're playing Senna Tahm Kench. You're kind of just, well, you can pressure hard if your jungler comes, but Jarvan never really came down to the bot lane. So we saw, Zach pressuring them over and over again. And when that bot lane, who's already trying to, wait and scale and get those souls, not really, the Senna's not farming at all, you're just getting pushed back and pushed back. And I want to see something that's able to, push forward more. And with the Senna ban coming out from their side, it looks like they're looking to make changes in the bot lane already.
Is good to, try and change things up here, and this feels like a very different type of lineup. Kalista, Taric, a very powerful duo I've seen in, the eastern parts of the world, and has made its way through a lot of the different regions here. It's a very strong duo, but feels very, very different than the Senna and the Tahm Kench. So I'm interested to see how this bot lane from NewAE can pull this one off here. But first pick Wukong into now Kai'Sa. Murk Nimbus definitely playing a very different style in their bot lane as well, if you're going Kai'Sa instead of Poke Varus.
What we're going to see from this Kalista Taric is they're going to have a lot more presence in team fights coming out from Taric, and Kalista's, going to have a little less than Senna did in the laning phase. It's kind of another safe lane that they're playing, but you're going to see a little more pressure because you don't have this starving Senna. And with the Set pick coming out, I'm actually really excited to see Set versus Wukong if we do get to see it, because both of these could be considered flexes, but with the Wukong performance that we saw last time and them getting the win on it, I think they're going to throw Wukong back in the top lane.
Definitely seems like a really crazy combo here. Taric's Set seems nuts. If the Set goes in, right, he's sort of immune for a while from damage, right, with the ultimate. Then all of a sudden, he comes out of that. You start bursting him down, like, oh, now he's not invulnerable anymore. We can kill him. All of a sudden, he turns around, throws a haymaker at you. That's just like so much time where you can't actually burst down the Set because A, he's invulnerable, and then B, we don't want to give him a huge build up on the grit bar. So it's gonna be really tough to deal with that engage potentially if that Set gets really strong. So definitely interested to see how the side of Murk Nimbus play around that Set in team fights potentially, or just skirmishes. But with assumedly top lane picked and the bot lane here, we're looking at junglers and mid laners here. So looks like 3 mid lane bans and then a jungle ban. So the Jarvan taken away from H-King, who felt okay on that pick, but definitely didn't have the game we were hoping for. As well, now it looks like Set maybe not the top laner, as Renekton's locked in for NewAE.
And I like this. I think Renekton does a lot better into Wukong than Set does. I think they're both pretty good matchups, but Renekton's going to be able to bully that lane. And remember, the side of NewAE, Quality Ranger was the one who was ahead, and this Renekton pick is going to allow him to, if he does get ahead the same way he did last game over Wukong, where he was kind of the saving grace for that team, he's going to be able to snowball really hard.
Yeah, that is something that's always scary with the Renekton snowballing early on. And Wukong is decent in the early levels, but I don't feel like is stronger than Renekton by any means.
Yeah, and the Trundle pick is actually very interesting to me because you don't have a lot of champions on the side of NewAE who build super tanky, because you can build. It's almost like asking the Set and the Renekton to say, let's build full damage now and go after this Kalista Veigar, which I'm very excited for.
Renekton was already going to build Bork, right? He was already going to build Blade the Ruin King first, I would think. And now this seems to incentivize that even more. So this Set jungle, which I assume this is what this is very commonly building a lot of health But perhaps you're right. Maybe he will switch that up now and just go for a more damage-focused build. Maybe even go Warrior early on. We'll see how that kind of pans out here. But I think that going back to the Azir is an interesting pickup. But it's definitely a better laning phase now he's up against the Veigar.
Yeah, I think the Azir is where normally I wouldn't have said it was the best pick because you don't have that much early game pressure. I think it's fine here because you're going up against Veigar, Kai'Sa, who are both looking to scale, and unless Wukong's getting some good roams down, you're going to be pretty safe from the Trundle, I would like to think. I'm really excited from this comp from NewAge, especially because I'm a little confused against the Trundle pick. Maybe the Trundle's going to out-jungle the set. We're going to see a lot of that because Trundle can clear a lot better. But it's going to allow this NewAge team to build straight damage into this really squishy early game dependent comp from Murk Nimbus, because Kai'Sa and Veigar aren't the best pre-6 champions.
Certainly not. And, well, with that, I think we'll take a short break. But before we do, anything you want to say before we go into this one? A second prediction here, because you said NewAge in game number 1 based off draft. Do you think differently here in game number 2 after seeing game number 1, or are you gonna stick with NewAge?
I do. I think Murk Nimbus just showed a lot better team composure there, and if they can bring the same thing to the table this time, I think Murk Nimbus has a nice 2-0 sweep that they can go home with today. But if NewAge could pick it up and with a completely new team comp, aside from the Azir, get this Renekton rolling, get this set rolling, I think they can do some damage and hopefully, tie up and show us a series.
All right, well, with that, we'll take a short break here. Be back for game number 2 in just a second. Murk Nimbus leading NewAge 1-0 here. Azir again for Proteus Senpai, but an easier laning phase against this Veigar instead of the Vel'Koz. So we'll see if that, helps him out in this one. But disappointing game number 1 for NewAge, but I think with the tools they've got here, maybe they can right the ship and send us to a game 3. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here. Game number 2, Murk Nimbus versus NewAE Esports. And, game 1 over to Murk Nimbus here. A pretty different draft besides this one Azir pick. But, a very different jungle matchup. We got the Trundle versus the Set. Jarvan was banned away from Age King. What do you think about this one? Because I haven't seen Set too often in the jungle. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but hasn't been the most popular pick. And Trundle usually against Sejuani. So what do you think about this jungle matchup?
I think Set is a champion that can jungle, yes, and is a decent jungler, but his main role is the top lane, and we might see this where Trundle is a built jungler. Like, he is a die-hard jungler. You know, Trundle can't play anywhere else. He clears his camps insanely fast and insanely well. And I think we're looking for another game where there's going to be, jungle diff spammed in chat, because Drops is going to get really nice jungle pressure off on the Set, where he's going to be able to clear his camps faster, get to the bot lane faster, and, get the ball rolling once again. If they can pick up early kills through this Trundle and Thresh setup for this Kai'Sa, it's going to be really hard for Kalista to get back into the game.
And don't tell Trick2G Trundle is a jungler. He likes to split push on that Trundle. And red buff taken here for the Trundle and for the Set. So same jungle path, at least level 1, as we had last game. Both junglers going to the red buffs, and now they're mirroring each other on the Raptors as well, it seems. Actually, the Set got off that. He went to the Raptors, but then he got off it. So what did he do? He didn't take anything. That's really quite interesting. Maybe he just hit it for health. Maybe that's what he did. But he's going to be on blue now, so it'll be buff to buff essentially here, as Trundle going Raptors now up top side. So we'll see where they end up here, but nothing major to mention in the lane so far. Have to wait and see a little bit longer, especially in the mid lane, how the matchup goes. They don't really do anything, but the bot lane not looking to fight, and neither is the top side. So we'll see how these matchups play out so far, but looks like jungler is going to be an opposite side, so not going to get to see them interact too early.
I'm kind of happy that Set went straight to his blue and now getting Grom. He's going to have pressure on this bot side now, which he didn't have last game. He's going to be able to get that bot lane scuttle grab, and hopefully NewAE will be able to pressure Dragon, get that first Dragon off the board, so they can kind of, slow down the game how they want to without being forced to play for souls.
Yeah, the Soul, very powerful last game. Obviously don't know what the Soul is just yet here, but we do have an Infernal Drake spawning, which feels pretty underwhelming now, especially when you consider it's, or compare it rather to the old Infernal Drake, which was like the best dragon by far. As gonna hold that thought as a flash in, stun by the Taric onto Kali, and the gank Age King doing a lot of damage. Haymaker here, Ignite, can they find the kill? But Ruby actually pulled in, and he's gonna get on first blood over to Kali. A fantastic play there by a Furious Doctor on this Thresh, and well, that gank didn't go the way they're hoping.
And that's going to be really dangerous for them later coming on. Kai'Sa is not a champion you want to see get kills early, because, Kai'Sa takes a long time to build up, usually, but the second you get kills, it feels like the game just runs away with Kai'Sa. Ruby just stepped a little too far into turret range. If he never got into turret range and didn't get CC'd by Thresh, that wouldn't have happened. We're seeing Thresh in another hook.
Yeah, and a back to live, and J2J going down to Kali as another Thresh hook lands in another kill for Kali. This bot lane, well, it was good last game, even better this game. Murk Nimbus off to a great start, and they didn't even need their jungler this time around to get things going for them. As the Trundle top side, putting a little bit of pressure here on the Quality Ranger, but his bot lane's doing so much for him. He just got to sit back and relax.
Yeah, and they don't have Tahm Kench to save them now. When the Furious Doctor was making great plays on Pyke last game, we didn't really notice them because Tahm Kench would just devour his AD carry. Taric can't do that, and a Furious Doctor is now showing how good he is on these pick supports, where we didn't really see it last game, but he had really good Thresh hooks right there, securing his team 2 kills.
Yeah, that is a scary thing when you have a player on that type of champion. Just so hard to play around, especially when you don't have the tools in the champion picks you have. Very, very difficult, very scary. Makes you just not even want to walk up, and so much CS is just lost to just straight perspective, like, well, I can't go there because I'm going to die if I walk up. So very tough to play against in this lane. I mean, they have a Kalista, a lot of mobility there, but just because you have a lot of mobility doesn't mean you're going to be able to dodge these hooks consistently here. As mid lane, that's been the calmest spot, but you know, a slight CS lead for the Vanguard as opposed well.
Yeah, and when you're Kalista, you have a lot of mobility, but only when you're necessarily around minions and your teammates. I'm happy that he kept his flash though, because it's gonna really help him in the lane. But Wukong getting a lot of damage on Renekton.
In there. I didn't expect that kill. Shouty Figure gonna grab that one. Quality Rager had flash, wasn't able to get it off. And Ruby taking a lot of damage here in the bot side. Drops out of mana. Can he get it? Furious Doctor actually gonna get it with the auto attack. And now, oh, Blast Cone. H-ing out to flash out after that one. They lose the support, but they get out with their jungler and AD carry. But this maybe gonna be, nope, they're gonna back out. Drops low on mana, so no dragon just yet, but a kill for the support this time around.
Yeah, Renekton up at the top lane tried to pressure Wukong because we saw him pressuring him a lot early game, able to shove that wave in, get a lot of damage. But he was pressuring into a huge wave by Wukong, taking a lot of damage from him and the wave. And, you know, Shadowy Figure just able to pick up that kill with the flash on Renekton, who had flash up, dying with flash up. I mean, you can't really predict when Wukong's going to flash auto attack you and finish you off underneath the turret, but really good play up there by Wukong. And then, you know, more picks down from the bottom lane by this Thresh. He's just on point today, getting a huge lead for his team. And I think we're going to see Murk Nimbus, you know, kind of snowball and run away with this game if we don't see this jungler from NewAE pick it up. Set hasn't been anywhere, really. They had one failed yank on the bot side, and then he's been quiet.
Well, you know Quality Rager's favorite player is Double A, so it just makes sense, that kind of play. But on to this bot lane, we have a slight CS lead here. 10 CS for the Kai'Sa over the Kalista, but with that tier picked up, there's not a ton of combat stats different right now. You know, Berserker Reaves versus the pickaxe, you know, I don't know exactly the numbers on that in terms of damage, but it's not a massive combat difference overall, especially with those Moby boots picked up by the support of Furious Doctor. The combat effectiveness isn't that much different, so while this lead is meaningful, right now it's not too crazy one, so maybe they can J2J and help out the rest of the team in the fight. The Shouty Figure getting clapped by Quality Rager and H-King here. No ultimate. A gank attempted, but nothing gonna really come out of it here as flash down from Quality Rager and Shouty Figure just walks away.
And the new Wukong showing how strong it is right there. His first ultimate not only knocks up Renekton, but Set's trying to come in for the gank, knocks him up too. And then just when you think he's going to get caught out again, oh wait, he's got another ultimate, showing how he can just pop off. I really love new Wukong because of his second ultimate right there. You have unlimited chase and unlimited getaway.
Well, here we go, Furious Doctor. Blocking the Aftershock has dodged a lot of damage here, but more coming down as 3 members of NewAE on the chase, but not able to grab him and try and get that kill. So able to escape as he has the Moby, so that bought a lot of time, and then only, you know, basic boots from most side of NewAE there this early on in the game here. So easy to get away as the Thresh with the Flay. And it would have been nice a pick, but not going to happen. As Kai'Sa in the bot lane left alone. Lost a bit of CS, but still is pretty much fine there, so not too concerned. Oh, hold on, she does get stunned up, and now Callie in a bit of trouble. Has the ultimate, gonna use it for a shield and a dodge there on the lance from J2J. Will be able to survive, but has to use the flash, and more damage coming through here. No ultimate just yet from Ruby, so no chance for a dive, or at least a invulnerability on a dive. He's out of mana now. J2J has the ultimate. They could go in, but would be very, very risky here. So looking for potentially this collision here as J2J played back by Furious Doctor. First gonna land here onto Ruby. Great use of the ultimate by J2J there to save his support. It looks like they're just going to disengage off the back of that one. Ruby gonna go in a little too far, maybe taking a turret shot. But a successful disengage. Now a stun by Boone here in the brush, but looks like he will not follow up on that here. As Trundle on the top side. Going around here in the Rift Herald pit. He's summoned on the top side, so this bot lane maybe going to try and rotate up there, but Quality Rager in a 2v1 now.
And I think we backtrack a little bit. I think J2J could have gotten that kill onto the Kalista, but he rendered a little too early because he thought he needed the slow. He thought that Kalista was going to get away, and as we saw, it was almost like a 2 auto attack difference that Kalista survived. Not Kalista,
Kai'Sa.
That Kai'Sa, yeah, that Kai'Sa survived. I'm getting confused because Callie's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all 3 Ks too. Kalista, Kai'Sa, Callie. Not
Kalista,
very
Kai'Sa,
easy to keep track of. A little tongue twister there, but yeah, if he had held the Ren, certainly could have been a kill there. Just slight optimization, and all of a sudden a shutdown of 450 gold. And that's a lot different from the bot side.
Yeah, and then you have a different game in the bot side right now when huge lead up at the top lane with that Rift Herald, able to take out that top turret is going to open up the game for this Wukong, who's has a pretty big lead over the Renekton. We're going to see this Wukong kind of tear up the game now. Hopefully they can pressure and get this mid turret down soon, but with turret plates with having another 4 minutes left on them, I think we're going to see a little more standard play until then.
Yeah, talk about a lead. 600 gold lead in the top lane alone. Add on to that another 1,000 in the jungle. It's a very big lead, and 1,000 in the AD carry position. This is a very, very big lead here once again for the side of Murk Nimbus. You're already up 1-0 and off to a good start here in game number 2 as well. Just 11 minutes in, they've already got the dragon, and now looking to try and grab that second one with the Wukong, having top lane priority now because he's got that first turret. They seem to have control of the map once again. Engaging coming down the bot lane for a gang TP coming in. It looks to be Shadowy Figure here on the Wukong. Both going to land here on HG. He goes down onto the Sport of Fierce. Doctor taking a lot of damage, being able to dodge out on the main damage Haymaker. And HG going to fall to Cali here with the top side of the fight here. The Wukong not able to get too much done, although does pick up a kill with the support of his team onto the enemy support. So gets one, but when you're this far ahead, you really want more.
Yeah, and they got that top turret, and then it opened up the game for Wukong. You saw him, roam down and get that kill. Wukong is so strong right now against the rest of the team who are kind of behind, especially this Kalista Taric. Taric's 0-3. Wukong's going to blow him up so quickly. And we saw Set just pushed a little too far past that Tri-Buzz, thinking that he could engage.
Hold on, in the mid lane, Boone's in trouble. Potato Senpai knocked him back. The ultimate is able to pick up the kill, a solo kill in the mid lane. Didn't see that one coming. A bit of a redemption here in game number 2, but Furious Doctor is in a bit of trouble. Chilling Slime onto him and a knockup from Ruby. Coming out of the ultimate, a stun lands here onto Cali. Ruby does not have the vulnerability available, so just disengaged, but a nice pick on his support.
Boone just stepped up a little too far and got, Wombo comboed back into the turret. Good pick up there by Azir, and then another good pick up in the bot lane. Set able to chase down and get that,
Hold on, here in the mid lane, Potato Senpai in a lot of trouble. Drops and Shadowy Figure here, and that's an auto, and that's a kill. Drops. Go back to what you're saying, the mid laner died.
Well, to go on that, you can't do that, Potato Senpai. You just had a beautiful kill catching somebody who pushed too far up, and then you know what you do yourself? You're like, oh, my mid laner's dead. I'm going to push too far up, and you get collapsed on there in the mid lane, and doing the same thing you just caught out Boone for doing, and at least it opens up his team for Dragon.
Quality Rager's still in the top side, trying to get this turret. Plating gonna, fall in about 45 seconds, but I don't think that this turret in the top side is anywhere near dying right now. And so much pressure being put on the bot side because of Wukong moving over here as we get potential breakout in the fight. Furious Doctor landing in his jungler. A lot of damage, or rather than Wukong, he's gonna flash over the wall here, looking for potential plays. Drops flashing over with the killer. A lot of damage put down on Ruby, but a double stun. Still the kill comes through. Shadowy Figure trying to run away here. A lot of damage put down from J2J, but not enough. As H-King here, a lot of damage, but Furious Doctor gonna have to flash out from the Haymaker of H-King. He will survive though, and Shadowy Figure taking turret shots. That maybe wasn't the way to exit, but he does survive, and now potentially bot lane turret gonna fall. Quality Rager's still in the top lane trying to take out that turret.
And it's gotta feel bad. You're seeing these members of Murk Nimbus get away with a sliver of health from these fights where, it could be a different story. They could be trading in these fights, but the itemization right now is just so different where Kalista doesn't have a full item built. You're not really getting that damage off, and same thing with Set. He still went for the Cinder Hulk. I think I would have liked to see him go damage. If he went damage, he would have killed that Thresh right there. I think he might have been able to finalize a lot of these kills that NewAE could have been getting in these fights.
Cinder Hulk is the standard in the jungle, but sometimes you adapt.
Yeah.
Like Olaf, for a long time, the Cinder Hulk was the standard. Then people started going Warrior, and even now, Warrior is the standard. But sometimes you go Cinder Hulk situationally. So perhaps that would have been a good adaptation for the set of this game. But this is looking pretty rough. I mean, we're only 15 minutes in, and the gold lead is what? Here, I gotta hold on. My brain's gonna hurt for a second. This math. So about a 5,000 gold lead here, right, for the side of Murk Nimbus. At only 15 minutes, that seems kind of large.
Yeah, and it's all of the players of Murk Nimbus.
Hold on, we've got a fight breaking out. Chatty Figure on the back line. J2J already dead, and now the show stopper from Age King onto drops, but, well, the show is stopping, but maybe not in the way Age King was hoping for as he goes down as well.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Wukong just able to blow up the carries in the back, getting ahead. And you know what I was saying before was the players who were kind of quiet last game for Murk Nimbus are the players who are carrying this game for Murk Nimbus. You have Wukong in the top lane and Thresh in the bot lane, who they were, you know, support and top were kind of quiet last game, and they're the ones who are really making the plays and getting their team the win now.
Well, another Rift Herald going to go over onto drops. Maybe looking to drop this one in the mid lane here. Half health turret there. And it looks like he will... Maybe they won't even use the Rift Herald. Maybe they'll just kill it themselves. Yeah, going to save the Rift Herald and just walk up and knock down the turret.
Yeah, and if they push it here, this is a free enter.
Yeah, Quality Ranger going in, finds a bit of damage on the Cali. H-King coming on the flank, but Shelly's going to get the charge off. Drop taking a lot of damage from the turret, but they back off in time, and inner turret down as well. Big pickup there, Shouty Figure. Oh my god, Ignite goes down. He's underneath the turret. He's going to go down. A shutdown for the side of Potato Senpai. 2 solo kills for him. Didn't see that one coming after game number 1, but he's actually making something out of basically nothing.
And I really like this. I like when you move your Azir into the solo lane. I said this last week when Akuma was playing. When you move Azir into the solo lanes, you're allowing him to get that free farm that he needs, and you're not grouping up with the team. He's not losing XP, and you saw what the benefits are right there. He's able to clear the waves and actually pressure kills in the 1v1, where sometimes you can't pressure kills in the 1v1 when your top laner's behind and you're sending him to clear waves.
Well, I mean, it's certainly paying off here, and now this Renekton, who's kind of a champion notorious for being really good in the early and mid game, but falling off later on, you know, having some usefulness, but if you're behind, it kind of sucks, right? And he's not behind in CS, but if you look at overall gold, he's pretty significantly behind, and he's feeling not the most useful. The Azir's doing well, but the Kalista, again, another champion that, you know, sometimes pales in comparison in late game to other AD carries. She's behind. You know, it's a different story when you're down this amount of gold, when you have a scaling team comp, right? But without that, how do you look to win this game? I mean, you have the Terracle, but just really, where's the damage? You know, is the Azir going to do it all?
I think the Azir's going to have to do it all, but it's going to be hard when you're going to get zoned out by, you know, Thresh and Veigar in these fights. And when you have this Wukong that's so strong, he's just ripping apart your backline. We're going to need to see some really early Terracles to kind of make sure Wukong wastes his kit, almost. Or they're going to have to fight when Wukong just teleports down or he's not there.
Wukong is in the top side right now with DP looking to split. Rager down with the rest of the team, so NewAE lose the dragon, and now the Wukong just topside taking down the turret.
And I think that was one of the fights where they could have pulled the trigger and went for it. They were in a 5v4 situation, and if they got a good, you know, side getting into that pit, if they were quicker to get into that pit, maybe they could have gotten something off, but they're looking to pick up
Wukong gonna get knocked back, but a Shouty Figure trying to run this one out. Chain stuns, though. Maybe he can get out with a W or a second cast the ultimate, knocks up several members. A lot of damage, almost gets out with a lantern, but down the Wukong goes on the way.
But look how much time he bought. They were able to get the inhibitor turret off that, and although it is more gold going to the side of NewAE, the base is open now on all for Wukong's death. It's honestly not a bad trade for Murk Nimbus. NewAE is going to like the gold, but Murk Nimbus opened up the base.
So the Wukong dies, but still provides a valuable service to his team now. And look at that. Transformed Muramana for the Kaisa, Rageblade online, and double items for the Veigar, double slow items, that is. And he's also got...
Pre-20 minutes.
Yeah, pre-20 minutes. And he's also got that rune that synergizes with it, right? He's got the Glacial. So he's got a lot of tools to slow down the enemy team. And when you have a couple champions like the Set and the Terror just kind of like walk around, they don't really have dashes, that can be you know, pretty difficult to deal with here. So this is a tricky situation to navigate once again for NewAE. But they got to stave off this Baron, because last time they lost it very, very early on, and once that happened, it felt like the base was gone, game was over.
Yeah, and what you said, Set, Tarek, and Renekton, all of them are going to have a really hard time, engaging into these fights. And, you could say Callista ult would kind of put more engage into it, but if you ult in Tarek, when Tarek has his ulti that he still needs to drop on the team, he's just going to die.
Well, speaking of Tarek ultimate, it goes down, but Ruby, I think, might die out of it. Hold on. Over the wall goes Callie. He's going to pick up the kill, but now flashback out. Easting, taking a lot of damage. Haymaker back doesn't do much of anything. Now, hook over the wall there from a Furious Doctor. Potato Senpai is going to go down after he gets knocked up. Callie with another kill here, and Shadowy Figure going to find a secondary knockup with the ultimate cast once again. J2J and H are able to survive that one, though. A clean double pick there for the side of Murk Nimbus. It's only 2, but last time it was only 2, and they got the Baron. It looks like that's going to be the same case in game number 2.
Yeah, Drops was trying to solo the Baron while all of that was going on, and he got really low. But they should be able to pick up the Baron here with almost no contest. Maybe Renekton makes a miracle Baron seal, and we see a little bit.
I'm not sure HK can even get to the pit quickly enough. Over the wall, Quality Rager. He's going to be hooked, but now with the ulti, then he's buying a lot of time. Down he goes to Callie, though. That's a lot of damage. HP now in the front line. Well, he's not there for long. And Ruby will survive, but yeah, Baron's gone, and so is much of his team.
I think he knew that he had to try to make a play there, but I think he was kind of just, on the wrong side of where you want to be. When you're Renekton, going through the Raptors area into the pit, it's almost harder to E over the wall there. You can't even E over the wall until you get to almost the middle of the pit. So if he went around the bush, maybe he was able to get in, but, I don't know. It was kind of a Hail Mary there for them to try to steal.
Yeah, you gotta play your outs, right? Like, the only way we win this game is if we make a crazy Baron play, steal, something like that. So he did his best to try and do the thing that would win the game, but it's kind of hard to do, and even in that context, it's still not the greatest place to end up. But the good news is the Azir, unlike last game, is actually quite strong. He's got 3-2 score line and a couple items here. Maybe he can make a big team fight happen, but that remains to be seen. NewAE here also have that problem with the Wukong splitting. He might TP back in. He's backing right now. We'll see if he TP's top side to try and get the pressure, which he will. So 2 lanes of pressure plus obviously mid and him down, which essentially equals 3 lanes of pressure. NewAE don't have a ton of great wave clear, but they're trying their best.
Yeah, and it just shows from the side of NewAE where you had all the players who were kind of doing better last game, like Quality Ranger and, well, mostly just Quality Ranger is now losing lane, and you have Potato Senpai doing well on the Azir, almost showing that it's a little bit of a comfort pick in different matchups. But they could get a kill on this Thresh, but they don't fully engage.
Well, the Furious Doctor gonna survive. While this is all happening, Shadowy and Drops are on the Nexus. I think they might just end this game with a kill on the Nexus here. Half health, now a third health. J2J trying to put down the damage, but that's hit with the Baron minions and the 2 backdooring. Wukong and Trundle end it, and that's going to be a 2-0 series win here for Murk Nimbus.
And what a way to end the game. Wukong and Trundle straight up ending it through topside as they pretty much did the whole game. I think it was just great play from Murk Nimbus, just entire team play. He kind of had a little slip up from Boone this game, but it's okay. He carried last game. He's allowed to slip up. But a Furious Doctor really shined on this Thresh, and Shadowy Figure showing why he picked Wukong 2 games in a row and won 2 games in a row with it.
Yeah, definitely a very impressive game for the Wukong. Game number 1 felt like he went a little under the radar. I mean, he had a couple nice plays at the end of the game, but really his team just kind of won the game before he really ever became too relevant. This time around, though, the Wukong won in the 1v1, won in a 2v1, then got help from his jungler, knocked down the first turret, and after that he was just everywhere, or rather he was sometimes on the opposite, the opposite place on the map that the play was actually happening, but when that happened, he was taking out an inhibitor turret, or he was creating pressure on the map, or he was just ending the game by killing the Nexus.
And I think a lot of this had to do with the point we touched on in the beginning, where NewAE could just kind of got out jungled again, where Trundle was able to move around the map, and look at the ending XP difference. Trundle's level 13 to Set's level 9. It's almost insane. It's crazy the amount that Trundle can pressure compared to Set just as a champion. And the player differential right there.
Yeah, a crazy game for sure. What is your biggest takeaway, though? For obviously, we're still in the early parts of the season. What is your biggest takeaway here for Murk Nimbus and New Age? I mean, Murk Nimbus obviously came out with a spectacular, 2 games here, but is there something that shows you after this they'll be, a contender going forward?
I think New Age just has to get their jungle solo lane synergy a little bit more on page, and then they'll be able to start clicking things together. I think their bot lane needs to pick a little more aggressive bot lanes, and once they get that jungle solo lane synergy a little better, I think you'll see, because we did see some bright sides from both of these solo laners in these games. We saw Quality Ranger getting solo kills, Azir, Potato Senpai getting solo kills. They do have the skill there. They just need to, kind of mesh as a team and get that team play together.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me here, Flip. I appreciate the help. Anything you want to say to the people before we end the stream here and say goodnight?
Oh, thank you guys so much. It was another fun couple of games I was able to cast, and just looking forward to some more good League of Legends during the Sugar Free League this season.
All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm not Kios. That's Flip that you just heard. Follow him on Twitter if you want to. And we appreciate you guys coming out and watching. Any other closing words? I thought I cut off a little bit early, but anything else to say before we go?
Oh no, if you want to check me out, you can check me out Twitch TV HGFlip or on Twitter at HGFlip, and that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can find our Twitter handles on the next screen when we go to that one. So thank you for watching, everyone. We'll be back Saturday, 8 p.m. again, 8 p.m. EST, that is. So tomorrow, Saturday, if you want to come and watch, thank you. Not exactly sure who will be here with me, but Flip may be here. We've got some other people floating around, so stay tuned for that one. But Saturday, tomorrow, 8 p.m. EST. Thank you all for watching.